So in order to start porting MMD cameras to DIVA, you need to have Blender and you also need to have MMD tools. The first thing you're
MMD
gonna
tools,
do,
that's so scary.
your voice is gonna be in the recording.
Oh.
I have my special assistant here. So the
Cute.
first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna delete all three, anything in the new scene that you just created.
Hmm.
You're gonna hit object, no, you're gonna hit add and you're gonna add a camera.
Yes.
You're gonna open the MMD tools tab and go ahead and import the motion onto the camera. And while you're here in the import dialog box, you're gonna go ahead and change the margin to 0 or else it's not gonna work. And then you're going to add an armature, only a single bone armature, and then you're going to go into edit mode and you're gonna add 2 more bones right over here. And then we have to change the name of these bones to um, viewpoint, view underscore point, interest, and FOV. And then we're gonna go back into pose mode and we're gonna start with viewpoint. So there's a few constraints that we need to set up in order for this to properly port. For viewpoint, you're going to go to the bone constraint tab and you're going to add a copy location and a copy rotation constraint. For this, you're going to want to target the camera object, not the MMD camera that was generated by MMD tools, but the camera object. So you just hit the dropper and then select the camera. And then you're going to need to do a similar thing for interest. For interest, you're going to add a bone constraint for copying the location. But for this one, you're going to go ahead and target the MMD camera. And then finally, we need to set it up for the field of view. In order to do this, we need to do some special things with the keyframes and copying and pasting. So to begin, click on
Y
the F.
para empezar,
To begin, go onto the FOV bone and go into the transform object properties. Make sure that the mode is XYZ Euler and then adjust any rotation X, Y, or Z for this bone. Right click and then hit insert keyframe. What I
si te
usually
gusta
do.
este video, dale un like.
You're so annoying. And then I usually just switch it back to 0 degrees and then hit replace keyframe. And then that's that. So we set it up correctly for the FOV. Now we're going to go into the animation tab and we are going to expand the MMD camera. And you'll notice here that there's a bunch of properties for other stuff. We're not going to worry about that. The only thing that we're going to worry about is this angle property. So click on any keyframe. I usually prefer doing it on the first keyframe because it's a dummy keyframe. You're going to right click it, and while this menu is still open, press L to link the keyframe. And then if you saw the keyframe disappear, then that means you did it right. So now all you're going to do is zoom all the way out, select all of the keyframes, hit Control C, and then swap back to the armature and paste this only in the X Euler rotation property. There we go. And now finally we're going to go back into layout, make sure you're in pose mode. Go ahead and select viewpoint and interest, only those 2 bones. Go to pose, animation, big action, and then you're going to select only selected bones, visual keying, clear constraints, and override current action. It should take a bit to process, and once that is done, once that is done, you're going to go ahead and delete the MMD camera and the Blender camera from your scene. And then once that's done, select your armature that you created and hit export in the MMD tools tab. And then just name it whatever and then hit export. Once that's done, go ahead and check to make sure that it actually did export something. You'll notice that the file should be around 1 megabyte or so. Go ahead and open VMDConverterGraphical. Drag your VMD and then hit this button, which is to process it. Do note that you're going to need .NET Framework 3.5, I believe, and you're also going to need the DirectX 9 runtime libraries, or else it's not going to work. From there, you're going to open a command prompt, and you're going to do Python. What's the name? Python DIVA cam tool, and then you're going to do the in file, which is the name of the VMD that you exported, and the name that you want to export. Sorry, no, it's going to be the comma separated value file that was created by VMDConverterGraphical. So now you should see a new JSON file, which can be used by PD tool to successfully successfully create a this can be used to successfully create a camera that can be read by the game. So you're going to, in the main menu here, you're going to do 6.1, select the JSON, and then hit 1 to create an Auth3D file that can be read by the game. And then you're just going to want to quickly check that this actually worked, and you'll see that there's a bunch of transform data and other stuff inside the camera file. And yeah, that's how you convert MMD cameras for DIVA.